hope that it's one of your favorites. Here he is singing Blues in the Night. Ladies and gentlemen, Joe Stafford. Joe Stafford.
And he does, and it's caught! Touchdown! Chris Matthews! How crazy.
With the first pick in the 2009 NFL Draft, the Detroit Lions select Joe Stafford, quarterback, Georgia.
Good kick up into the air. It is loose and recovered by Seattle. Chris Matthews.
So let's get started.
Welcome back, everybody. Stafford and Matthews, episode 22, 23. We've lost count at this point. Anyway, Joe Stafford, of course, Chris Matthews, and intern Kev. Boys, we're back. We missed a lot. We went to do our Super Bowl post-game show and everything. We talked about the game and how Tom Brady won his 7th Super Bowl to absolutely no one's surprise except Chris Matthews. And now we're fully invested in the NFL offseason. 2 major trades have already happened. We missed our window at 1. Sorry, we'll get to those thoughts in a minute on Stafford and Goff switching places from Detroit and LA. But let's start with the big news of the week. Carson Wentz, the actual Red Rifle. That's my nickname for him instead of Andy Dalton because he can sling that thing. Indy, the Indianapolis Colts have traded for Carson Wentz from the Philadelphia Eagles in exchange for a 2nd and 3rd round pick. The second can actually turn into a 1st round pick, but regardless, the Colts team's going to be really good. So even that 1st round pick's going to be towards the end of the 1st round anyway. My thoughts on the trade right off the bat, I think it's a great move for both teams, and here's why. Frank Reich worked wonders with Carson Wentz during his years in Philadelphia as the OC. No doubt about it. He was an MVP contender. He had 35 touchdowns passing in, I think, 12 or 13 games, something like that, before he hurt his knee, before that crazy Super Bowl run with Nick Foles. Regardless, had a phenomenal season under Frank Reich with really limited weapons. I mean, Alshon Jeffrey was not the number 1 receiver. Like, he was banged up pretty much his whole career in Philly. And not to mention, guys like Nelson Aguilar, who wasn't obviously stellar at any point in his career so far, with good tight ends, granted, and everything. But I think a lot better weapons in Indianapolis await Carson Wentz with guys like Nyheim Hines, Jonathan Taylor, Zach Pascal, sophomore now, Michael Pittman Jr. I will see how T.Y. Hilton, handles his offseason and everything. I'm not really sure what we're going to see from him next year. We're not sure if he's kind of done or not. We're not even sure he's going to be back on the team next year. We'll wait and see for that. But regardless, Indy's future looks pretty bright, and I do think Carson Wentz has a career revival in him. He's still young, guys. People are acting like he's washed up, but he's not washed up yet. He has so much more potential left in him to succeed in the NFL at a very high level. As for Philadelphia, Jalen Hurts is your future. You drafted him in the 2nd round last year, and everybody's kind of blown away. You've kind of been behind Carson Wentz your entire time here. Even when you drafted him, you're saying Carson Wentz is still our quarterback. Wentz goes out, Hurts comes in, has a couple great performances against Kyler Murray and a couple other teams down the stretch, and it looks like Philly found their next guy. And as soon as there became a quarterback controversy, one of them needed to go. It's so cancerous to have both of those entities in the same locker room, especially considering Wentz's attitude was horrendous towards Philly officials towards the latter parts of his Eagle career. This was going to be a locker room issue. It was going to divide the locker room, and it will be a hell of a lot easier for Hurts to command respect from his guys without Wentz yapping in the background, whether as a backup or a starter. I think it's time to start fresh in Philly. It remains to be seen whether or not it was the correct move to either trade Hurts or Wentz. We have to wait and see on that. Obviously, no one can tell at this point, but if I had to give my opinion right now, it was a great move for both teams. Both teams are moving in the right direction now, at least for the 2021 season. And I'm very looking forward to seeing how both quarterbacks perform in their new roles.
Yeah, I hear you. I feel like it was a good move for both sides as well. I feel like with all the things that's been going on in the locker room with Philly and all the the talking behind the scenes, it just felt like its course is ran, and the time has ran its course. And I'm not gonna lie to you, I actually like Carson Wentz as a quarterback. I think he's a very talented guy. Like you said, he's young, especially when you're talking about one of the oldest quarterbacks in the game just win a whole Super Bowl. So those are, that's something that, that Indy is looking forward to in the later part of the years, as time goes on and they're growing more with their offense. I do feel like they should probably go out and probably get one or two more pieces on the offensive side, especially on the O-line. On an O-line end for Indy, but overall, I think that with time of them growing together, they could be actually pretty dangerous because their defense is top of their class. So is in their top class. So I can see a lot of promising things coming from Indy, but as far as Philly, though, I feel like there's a couple of things that needs to be addressed there. First, I wouldn't want to say you got a clean house, but you definitely have to lay down the law in that locker room, because once things get messed up, people aren't on the same side. There needs to be a reckoning. I don't know what needs to happen. I'm not saying anybody needs to lose their job or anything like that, but something needs to happen where people are understanding that this is still a job and this is a blessing to be here. And so with that being said, something has to happen moving forward with the Philadelphia Eagles. That's one. And for two, I personally believe, I personally think if it was me, I would draft another quarterback just in case. You know what I'm saying? Like just in case. And here's the reason why I'm saying this, Joe, is because first off, you thought that he was good enough to even draft him in the first round when you already have Carson Wentz, who's already established who he is. That says a lot right there. You're saying that, all right, we probably need to start moving and, we'll see. And when you're a top draft pick, you're expected to play now. Let's just be real here. You're expected to play now, and soon as one thing messes up, you're going in. As we say with Miami, with Fitzgerald and Tua Tagovailoa. You see how that happened. It was a tricky little situation in their instance, but that's them. But for Philly, I feel like there are times that we were both like that we all collectively, honestly, was looking at Carson Wentz and was like, is it time for Hurts to get in? You know what I'm saying? Those are questions, and time went on. I don't think Hurts didn't get in until the tail end of the season, but we know that there was problems even in the beginning of the season. So that told me that he was good enough to get drafted, but he's not good enough to go out there and take over a game, and we put our full confidence in him. So that shows me that they're still on the fence about their own quarterback that they just drafted. Honestly, even though he's taking the steps, we've watched him. I've admitted on this show that I like Jalen Hurts' play. He seems like he's a guy who doesn't get flustered easily. So the game could really be moving slow for him, or it's just not as a big deal to him being out there, with all these guys out there. But you can still have that mindset and still not be able to perform the way you need to perform. So I think that's one of the things that they really need to address is that quarterback situation, even though they've gotten rid of Carson Wentz.
Fair enough. And Chris, I gotta stop the show for a minute. You're dripping right now. Look at that outfit. Holy shit. You got the new cut, you got the beard trimmed up a little bit. I like it. The real loser of this entire trade, Philadelphia's cap space. Holy shit. $30 million cap hit. The highest ever. The NFL's been around for longer than 100 years. It's the highest cap hit ever. That sucks. That stinks out loud if you're a Philadelphia Eagles fan, because, yeah, the future might be bright with Jalen Hurts as your quarterback, but how are you going to put talent around him if you don't have any cap? You released Alshon Jeffrey. Alshon Jeffrey's gone. Deshaun Jackson, who recently announced as well, he's gone. He's not going to be a Philadelphia Eagle anymore either. You drafted Jalen Reagor, by the way, ahead of Justin Jefferson. You should be pissed about that as well if you're an Eagles fan. But regardless, there are some things to be worried about if you're an Eagles fan, even though the new era with Hurts seems to be the right idea moving forward.
Yes.
Those are our thoughts on the trade. Actually, Kev, give me like a quick flash notes, a little preview of what your opinion was on this trade.
I think the Eagles got fleeced in the trade, but for their culture, I guess it makes sense for like a fresh start and moving on with Hurts. But the trade itself, I think the Colts easily won that.
You a big Howie guy?
Not really. I just
hate the name.
It's still some pieces that needs to be put in place for Indianapolis, but overall, looking at it, like Tom Brady is basically setting a new chart for quarterbacks on how long they stay in the NFL and what they're able to do and if they can revamp their career. So it's like they actually won because there's so much time for him to figure it out again or grasp the Colt way and take them back to the top where they used to be.
Fair enough.
And they have such a great defense already.
Yeah, they do. But to that point, Chris, about longevity, I think Brady might be an anomaly and only for this reason. Obviously, he's a specimen. He's done the whole TB12 method for the last, 13, 14 years. I understand that part of it. But pocket passes are dying out in the NFL. The way to not get hurt is to not get hit. The way to not get hit is to not run outside the pocket. That's the bottom line. With all these guys like Kyler Murray, Jalen Hurts, Lamar Jackson, and the list goes on and on, even Deshaun Watson in some ways. When you run outside the pocket, you have a much higher percent chance of getting hit. That's the bottom line. That's common sense. Brady's probably the best quarterback of all time avoiding hits. Even inside the pocket, he knows how to fall down. These younger quarterbacks, while they're amazing athletes, I can't take anything away from them on the offensive side of the ball when I'm talking about their actual ability. But in terms of longevity, you're going to start seeing quarterbacks retiring earlier and earlier because their body can't take the beating, especially with these small frames. Kyler Murray's not a big guy. He's not a big guy. Jalen Hurts is bigger, to his credit, but not that much bigger. So you're going to start running these situations where these quarterbacks start retiring early because they literally can't keep up with the physical toll that an NFL season, brings with it every single season. So keep that in mind as well. All right, next trade. Uncle Matt got traded, finally. I was really hoping he was going to go to the Patriots, and then it came out 2 or 3 days later that he said, I'd go anywhere except New England. So that was kind of a stab in the back there from Uncle Matt. It kind of hurt the family tree a little bit. But anyway, Matt Stafford heads to sunny Los Angeles, joins Chris Matthews out in L.A., and in the process, the Rams send Goff and a couple first-round picks to the Detroit Lions. When it comes to who won the trade, there's a couple of trains of thought that would make sense for really both parties in terms of who actually won the deal. Matt Stafford, far and away a better quarterback than Jared Goff. In terms of player versus player compensation, the Rams fleeced the Lions.
Yes.
In terms of player versus player comparison. But when you add 2 first-round picks and bring in a heavy contract, that's where the Rams start to lose. They don't have a first or second round picks till I think 2025, 2026, something ridiculous, something like franchise altering to the point where you're saying, how the hell did this even happen? You bring in Matt Stafford, great move. I like the actual move itself, but you're really pinning yourself into a corner in terms of cap space. You already had a bad cap situation with Jared Goff. Now you bring in Matt Stafford, who has a similar contract and have to take the cap hit of trading Jared Goff. That bonus money is getting paid out by LA, not by Detroit. They might work out a way of splitting it in terms of, clearing the cap penalty and everything. But as of right now, as it stands, the Rams are getting boned in terms of bonus payouts for Jared Goff. So in that aspect, the Rams aren't in a great space. Do I think they compete now with Matt Stafford? That's a resounding yes. A resounding yes. The play of that young core has been unbelievable. The defense, while it's starting to age a tad bit, it's not aging to the point where it's like, oh, okay, we're going to start considering, moving pieces around. Aaron Donald's still dominant. He will be dominant for the next few years, at least 3 or 4 more years. Jalen Ramsey has given no indication he's taking any more years off. You guys like John Johnson, who's playing at an elite level, Taylor Rapp, Corey Little, all these great young, kind of almost gadget players when you talk about the kind of elite athleticism and maybe smaller stature. They have a phenomenal put up defense going forward in LA. Offensively, Cam Akers, I mean, you can talk about him more. The playoff run he had, especially again in the game against Seattle, he took my breath away. They relied on him a heavy amount because of Goff's thumb injury. He proved his worth. And you guys have underrated guys like Josh Reynolds, guys like Cooper Kupp, who's proven to be one of the most reliable targets in the NFL when he's healthy. You bring in Matt Stafford, coming from a desolate place in Detroit, coming to sunny LA with better weapons, a better defense, a better place to live. I really do think this change of scenery benefits both Matt Stafford and the Rams to the point where I would be shocked if they're not at least contention for the NFC Championship next season.
Absolutely. No, I'm with you on that one. I just feel like they have too many. They're going to run into that problem. They're going to run into the same problem that Tampa Bay had of just having too many pieces to hang on to after the year is over with. I just feel like, for one, I'm with you. I'm with you on the championship run. If they can get past Kansas City, boy, I could definitely see them winning the whole thing. Just off of the pieces that they have that's on piece of paper, we don't know what's going to happen yet until everything subsides and we actually get into the season. But overall, I think that the Rams they did get a win on the with Uncle Matt. He's a great player. I was actually waiting on a tweet or something from Calvin Johnson. Like, yeah, I'm headed to LA and pull a Gronkowski on us. Like, yeah, I'm headed to LA. And I'm like, yes, sir. I might end up getting me a little Megatron jersey from the Rams if he was to ever come over here. But
you're a Bay City trader, Chris.
I'm not. I am a Calvin Johnson fanatic. That's what I am.
Okay.
Just like how you are with Tom Brady, I am that way with him. But no, I definitely think it was great for them. Great for Matthew Stafford more so than anything. Coming from Detroit, which is not, I'm not going to say that they're a bad organization. They just don't have everything put together. They're not really ran as well as you would like what you would like for them to do. And the reason why I say that is because I've said this before, but you've had it's about to be potentially 2 Hall of Famers that retired early. One is actual Hall of Famer, one that could be coming up pretty soon. But with Barry Sanders and Calvin Johnson, how do you have such amazing talent like that and then they walk away from the game so soon because they're just not winning? You know what I'm saying? So is it like you're just not letting nobody go, or what is the case? I don't understand it. But when I see stuff like that, it just tells me that there's something fishy that's going on in that organization. And I'm just happy that Matt is getting a new scenery, a new team. It's going to be nasty. Matthew Stafford's attitude is much like Jalen Ramsey's. I like that kind of attitude that comes out of him, especially as a quarterback. And it's only going to motivate that team to have those kind of alpha leaders with Aaron Donald, Matthew Stafford, and Jalen Ramsey like that at the helm. They're going to be a nasty team to handle it. It's like one of those. I can see it now as like Kansas City and the Rams clashing together. Much like how it used to be back in the day with Seattle versus the Cardinals back in the day. Like that used to be a game that everybody was ready to watch. Now I can see for sure the Rams versus Kansas City clashing together and everybody's paying attention to it because it's such a momentum, it's such a big game with so many great players on both sides of the ball. I would love to see it, but like I said, back to my point is, are they going to be able to keep, the key players to help them get all the way next year or even this year, to be honest with you.
Well, it's a serious question just because given how, screwed they are with the salary cap. And the scary thing is, for the sake of the league, they're not even the worst in terms of salary cap. The New Orleans Saints are like negative 70 million cap right now. And it's psychotic.
They're gonna keep on paying everybody over there until they wipe the slate clean. They're gonna start over.
Yeah, seriously. But speaking of which, Mike Thomas might be on the move. If we're talking about that right now, we can get into that. Mike Thomas might be gone. Can't guard Mike was can't fucking play for shit. He's gonna be gone. Slant Boy might be in some serious trouble soon. He might be in some serious trouble.
Yeah, he got one more year. I think he has one more year, and then they're gonna try to move him up out of there, especially with that $100 million contract that they gave him. So, but I don't believe that he'll go anywhere. Just because the simple fact of who he is and why, and the reason why he ended up getting $100 million contract, I don't think that that's going to happen.
Fair enough. Chris, you ever play against Matt Stafford during your career or no?
I played against him. None. Nope. I don't think I've ever played against him. When I played against Detroit one time, he was hurt.
Oh, was that the Dan Orlovsky year?
Yeah.
Oh, shut the 0-16 year. That's a tough bid. That is a tough bid. So I was thinking about this. So the Rams are a very intriguing team. And I've gone through your followers about 20,000 times because I just like to look for every little connect I can get because I'm a greedy little bastard. And I saw that Josh Rounds follows you.
Yeah.
Let's get him on the podcast to talk Matt Stafford. I would love to do that.
Okay.
Hit him up.
It was, the funny thing about it is that I know exactly what you're talking about because I remember when it popped up on my feeds and I was like, why would he be wanting to follow me? But I was like, okay, cool. Let me get young boy to follow, and he's been solid on there, man.
I think he heard you were partnering with me and was like, oh shit, I gotta follow Joe Stafford's partner. He used to play in the NFL or something. That might be it. Yeah, that's crazy. Anyway, all right, what else are we talking about? Washington football team keeping their name. This won't be a long segment. Why? That's the part. Why? Why would you do that? You don't have an identity. You're literally an area's football team. That's what you're saying you are. Didn't have a bad run. Yeah, I know, but I just don't like it. You had an exciting run towards the end. Alex Smith comes back from crazy injury, leads you to a playoff run, gets injured. Taylor Heinicke was a great story in the first round of the playoffs, almost beats Tom Brady. And yeah, it's cool. But Washington football team, I just don't like it. I don't like it at all. You're the same colors as the Redskins. People still call you the Redskins. I think about 50% of the people I know still call you the Redskins. So that's probably an issue. If you're going to put the Washington football team as your actual thing, change the color scheme at the very least. Do something to discriminate from what you used to look like, because it's the same jerseys. It looks the exact same way it did before. So maybe that's just my advice. And maybe names, just theoretically, like the politicians, that wouldn't be a bad one. Metropolitans, that wouldn't be a bad one. Generals wouldn't be a bad one. You can't do capitals. There's names out there. You can find a name. You have a marketing team. You have a research team for a reason. Figure it out. Find a name out. And for God's sake, get a new owner too. I'm so sick of seeing all these like sexual abuse allegations, racist allegations. Your owner sucks, guys. He can't manage the cap. He's a horrible human being. Sell to Jeff Bezos or something. He could probably buy it. I don't know. Just find somebody else to own the team.
To be honest with you, I don't think I've ever heard of any owner actually getting their team taken away from them or having to sell their team ever in my career.
Welcome to 2020.
You know what I'm saying? Donald Sterling was out of there within weeks. And now you got this guy, it's a fraternity. We all know this. We don't need to go through what's going on behind closed doors because we already know or have some kind of thought process on what's going on. So ain't none of that is going to happen. Changing the name, maybe that needs to be one thing that does need to change, but everything else is pretty much going to stay the same. They're still going to be the Washington football team. I just think that I kind of want to say I kind of like it now, to be honest with you, because
I knew you did. I had a little inkling that you liked it. I don't know why.
They're getting better, bro. Especially with Chase Young, leading the way. shoot, he could turn that whole name into something huge, you know, and it'd be a name to mimic after, you know, if somebody else comes up with, you know, some problems with the team, they'll have to follow this blueprint that the Washington team has built. So I don't know.
Yeah, speaking of, actually, I've never told this story in this podcast before. Combine story, flashback. Obviously, I don't know if you guys know what's the combine. We did the whole report on it, did a whole lot of scouting, beat every CBS analyst out for my mock draft, yada, yada, yada. Anyway, I have like a little Chase Young tidbit. I'm at the combine. I'm with all the scouts. I'm watching the bench press. D-line was up next. I'm like, oh, shit, I'm about to see Chase Young do the bench press. I'm thinking like 30-something reps. Like, I'm thinking he's going to be a bad boy up on the stage. He gets up there with about 4 other guys, and this dude is a behemoth. Huge, ridiculously shredded, like 0.5% body fat shredded, like ridiculous. Gets up there with his huge dreadlocks, takes the microphone away from the guy. He's like, you guys know who I am. I'm not benching today. Walks off the stage. And everyone just like, they're looking around, everyone's like, and everyone in that place knows he means business. Like, no one cared what he was going to bench because he was going to go top 3 no matter what. Like, he was going to go top 3 no matter what he put on a bench. He could have gone to bench, done 1 rep, put it down, and still gone top 3. Like, we know what kind of player Chase Young is. And it was just so funny because everyone around me that wasn't a scout, like whether it was like fans or whatever, they were just like so shocked and so like, wait, like, is he actually not going to bench? I'm like, yeah, players of that caliber don't need to bench. They don't need to prove anything to you because the tape speaks for itself. It's like Deion Sanders. Deion Sanders did one event at the NFL Combine, the 40-yard dash. Ran like a 4.29, got back in his private jet and got the hell out of there. Like the special player, huh?
I said Deion Sanders is special. I was thinking more with Chase Young. He kind of has that aura of Jadeveon Clowney, and we've seen how that's done turned around. So let's just hope that, you know, Chase Young is humbled enough to stay working and doesn't take this for granted, because you can see how Jadeveon, although he's done sparked his career back up again, but nonetheless, this is a first-round draft pick who was highly sought after when he was coming out from the league, much on Aaron Donald's caliber of players when he was coming out. So I just want Chase Young to stay humble, stay vigilant on what, you know, on your goals, and keep it pushing, bro, because he could literally take that team and turn it into a whole new franchise by itself.
For sure. And I think the Clowney comparison is fair in terms of like cockiness and kind of like, I'm that dude type of thing. Yeah, I see that. But Clowney, you know, came in the league, got hurt his first year, came back, got hurt again. You know, this guy's first step is unlike any others. His first step as a pass rusher is insanity. It's outlandish. It's something I've never seen before.
Or Clowney.
On Clowney. Yeah. Just the first step was just ridiculous. And then he got lazy. He got hurt a couple more times. He got lazy, wanted to get paid for not really having the production. And that kind of started like a whole, you know, tail end of his career. I think Chase Young's different. And like different, but he's also like I'm talking built different. Like, this guy's mentality is like, I'm going to tear your face off every single play. I've seen this guy up close. I've seen this guy work out. I've seen this guy in action. He means business every time he steps on the football field. Every single snap is war with him. So I believe in Chase Young. I don't think he's an extra Jadeveon Clowney. That's just me.
Gotcha.
Anyway, next up, what are we thinking, boys? Little Deshaun Watson talk. All right.
It's a little bit early for me. I don't want to, you know, put the cat out the bag and tell y'all where he's actually going to go. Cause, you know,
he's going to San Francisco.
I've been getting these messages from people. I don't know. I might have played with a couple of people that's, you know, for the 49ers, and they could be telling me some stuff. I don't know. It could be true, could not be true, but I don't know. But, you know,
I'll go
with this. I'll go with it.
I'll go as far to say you're like a more toxic 49ers fan than I'm a more toxic Patriots fan. Like, it's that much worse with you. Like every single person, we're getting him. No, you're not. You're not getting him. And there's and the number one reason why, you already have a quarterback. His name's Kyle Shanahan. Like, you didn't actually need a real quarterback. Like, I'm dead serious. Think about it. Like, you had the same success with Nick Mullins you did with Jimmy Garoppolo. You don't need to pay your quarterback a hefty bag of cash when you can win with a guy like Nick Mullins and invest elsewhere on your offensive defense. That's all I'm saying. I don't think it makes sense for San Francisco. But one team that I have been hearing is Carolina. And I've heard rumors that Deshaun Watson wants to approve trades to 3 teams. Somehow the New York Jets, I still don't believe it. I refuse to believe it, but it might be a reality at this point. Miami, which makes a hell of a lot of sense, and Carolina. In terms of Deshaun Watson actually having success, Carolina's probably not the best place to go. But in terms of, capital being given back to the Houston Texans, there's been a lot of talk about 3 first-round picks in Christian McCaffrey. That's the entire franchise.
Yeah, literally.
That's the whole franchise. You don't only have a number one receiver. You have Curtis Samuel. He's pretty good. You have Robbie Henderson. He's decent, like great, yak guy, but not really a big scorer. Not a guy who's going to change your entire offense around. Running back, yeah, McCaffrey's good. After McCaffrey, what? Mike Davis? Maybe. We'll see. I guess he was good in spurts last year. But the reality of it is, if you trade McCaffrey and 3 first-round picks, taking away incentive for Deshaun Watson to waive his no-trade clause, because he wants to play with guys like Christian McCaffrey. He wants to play with first-round picks. He doesn't want to play with what you have left over after the scraps are swept off the table. You know what I'm trying to say? It's like, so I never really understood that, but there's been a lot of talk about Carolina giving up the entire franchise to get Deshaun Watson in the door. If I'm Houston, I'm saying, yeah. You'd be an idiot to say, yeah, 3 first-round picks in Christian McCaffrey. I think you're stupid if you would say otherwise. But if I'm Carolina, if I'm Deshaun Watson, I hate that. I absolutely hate that. Chris, what are your thoughts on that? Because I don't understand that thought process.
I mean, I kind of understand it, and I'm just going to be a more realist about the situation. There's not that many dogs that are out there on that team for you to actually not consider giving up these people right now. Or giving up 3 first rounders is, it's almost like hey, we're going to take you, we'll take you, but we need this, we need that. And I don't care about who he wants to play with. Bro, you can get more friends. You're getting all this money. You're getting all this money. We're going to bring some more people in here. Hopefully, we get some in the later rounds that actually flourish and becomes what we need them to become. But other than that, bro, if you can get some people off to get a franchise player such as Deshaun Watson, I mean, shoot, why not?
Why not? And actually, speaking of which, we have a resident Jet fan right here. Trevor Nelson, the roommate. Come here, baby. Give me your quick pitch for why Deshaun Watson should be a New York Jet this offseason.
I think he wants to go to a winning franchise, unlike the New England Patriots. I think they got more assets. I think they got more money. Not everyone wants to play for Bill Belichick. All I got to say is Deshaun wants to come to New York and be a winner, and that's what he's going to get.
How about that?
That's right.
How about that? A resident Jets fan with a hot take right off the mic.
You literally said, you come to a winning organization with the greatest face I've ever seen.
You gotta love the enthusiasm, though. You gotta love it.
That's a real Jets fan. I can believe somebody like that.
That is a real Jets fan, straight off Long Island. That was awesome. But in terms of reality, getting back to reality a little bit, Deshaun Watson, Carolina, I don't really see it happening. I wouldn't want to see it happen. I just don't think it'd be a great place for him to succeed, neither with the Jets. The best place, I think, is Miami. I do think Miami is probably the best place for him. Just weapons after weapons, a solid defense, a good young head coach, a progressive head coach. You have an extra first-round picks in your back pocket. I think that's the best place for him to go.
I don't see it, bro. I don't see it because, I don't believe that Tua is going to allow that to happen.
Well, Tua doesn't have a goddamn choice.
Well, he doesn't have a choice in the say of who comes and who doesn't come, but he does have a choice on, if you're going to play or if you're not going to play, because he right now, I truly believe that he is one of those guys who is a worker, and he is working his ass off to get better, to show these coaches like, yeah, I'm the reason why you chose me in the first round. I'm the reason why you put me in instead of leaving Fitz Magic in the game. Like, I'm going to show you why. I just feel like that's the kind of person that he is, just off of, countless interviews that I've been watched him. And he just seems like he has a good head on his shoulders. He knows what work is. And I believe in him. But ultimately, why wouldn't you, if you was Deshaun Watson, I mean, I would go to 49ers. But if you're thinking about Carolina, I probably would take that because if you're looking at it, who did they have? Who was the next biggest? Who was the biggest star in their franchise ever? In your opinion, Joe, who do you think that was?
That's a great question. Come back to me, Kev. What's yours? Come back to me.
Yeah, go ahead, Kev. Go ahead.
One that comes to mind is Steve Smith.
See,
but there's probably someone else I'm not thinking of.
We're talking about Panthers' best all-time receivers or anybody?
Just anybody. Just who's the biggest?
Julius Peppers. Julius Peppers. I'm thinking maybe Sam Mills.
See, I'm going with Cam Newton.
Yeah.
And the reason why I'm going with Cam Newton is because this man was the face of football at one point in time. Like, you couldn't find a Superman cape anywhere around that time. Like, Cam Newton transcended that team, and they embraced that while all the off the field stuff that Cam was doing that was bigging up his career. Also, the football team was embracing that and allowing him to flourish. And when you see things like that, looking at Deshaun Watson, that's something that I would actually want. Like, they're going to allow me to do what I want. They're not saying that I got to come here and just play football.
So I like that mindset. I think that makes a lot of sense. But there's one small issue I have with that. It's a different regime. If Ron Rivera is here still, that's a different discussion. I think you're probably 100% right if Ron Rivera is still here. But Matt Rule is still a very big unknown. We don't really know how he runs his team yet. Teddy Bridgewater was an experiment this year. Didn't really work the way they wanted it to work. We're not sure how he runs his football program. 1 year doesn't define anyone. Look at Bill Belichick. He was the head coach in Cleveland, and you saw how that worked out for him and everything until he went to New England. So it really depends on how Matt Rule governs his team and how he wants his players to act or not act. That will really determine what Deshaun Watson has to do with it. I wouldn't be surprised if he sat down with Matt Rule. Deshaun Watson did, maybe talked it out before the trade even thought to have happened. There might be tampering, but the NFL always has things ways around certain laws and regulations, especially when it comes to star players. Star players doesn't matter.
Private jet.
All right, enough of that. All right, we're done. Deshaun Watson, we're done. One other quarterback's on my mind a little bit. He goes by the name of Ben Roethlisberger. Dude. Chris, I know. Yeah, Big Ben. All right, whatever. Chris, I know you like him. I don't. For a number of reasons, I don't. I've said on this podcast a lot. I think he's kind of a scumbag. I don't like who he is as a person. And as a quarterback, he's shown me really nothing the last couple of years. Nothing. Especially this last year. You start 11-0. You start to skid mark your way to the playoffs, and you get blown out by the Cleveland Browns without their head coach, without their starting left guard, without half their special team staff. The Cleveland Browns. Ben Roethlisberger threw 4 interceptions. He literally retired his center this year. Retired him. That's pretty hard to do. Pouncey is one of the most electrifying centers of all time. Florida legend, Pittsburgh legend. Him and his brother might be Hall of Fame bound at the same exact time. It'll be the first time ever that would ever happen. So, correct to the Pounceys. But, back to Ben Roethlisberger. It's time to go. Pittsburgh's salary nightmare doesn't end with him either. That's the worst part. Yes, Ben Roethlisberger should be out of that and to draft the guy immediately. The sad part is, if they keep him, it's like $41 million against the cap. If they cut him, it's like $25 million. So either way, you're boned. You're porked. You are screwed. No matter how you slice and dice it. You keep him, you're paying $41 million to a 38-year-old quarterback that's washed up, or you're paying him $25 million to sit on the couch. That's not a great scenario if you're a Pittsburgh Steelers fan. Not to mention, you don't have the cap to re-sign Juju Smith-Schuster. He's probably going to New York or some terrible market for TikTok. I have no idea. And now you deal with Pittsburgh without another number 2 receiver. You're expecting Chase Claypool to be that number 1 receiver right off the bat, which is a bad look if you're a sensible football fan. With number 1 coverage and safety over the top, Claypool might not have an easy time dominating, quote-unquote, like he did this past season. That's all I'm trying to say. Juju might be out of the picture. You still have a pretty decent depth of position, and Eric Ebron's pretty good as well. But quarterback's an issue. Salary's an issue. Pittsburgh, you're in trouble. Chris, what do you think they should do?
I think they should get rid of Juju, not get rid of, but let him move on. Not play into anything that Joe's talking about with Big Ben and being washed up or anything like that. Business is business. We're gonna keep it going as usual. I just came to the realization that you guys have been fluffed for some time now. You guys have been coddled. You know what I'm saying? You guys are just soft right now. And the reason why I'm saying that is because you guys have had the luxury of having probably one of the best quarterbacks to win in the NFL history, period, ever. You guys are having the luxury of having that. And so now you're just looking at people who used to be good and now they're just not, competing to the job. To the level that Tom Brady is. Or you forget that Tom Brady had Antonio Brown, Chris Godwin, Mike Evans, Leonard Fournette, Ronald Jones, all these great players around him. Granted, Steelers, you have great players around. Big Ben, you have great players around you as well, but not to the magnitude of Tom Brady or even who else? Who else has help like that on that level? Aaron Rodgers with Devontae Adams. Who else? Breeze with oh boy. So it's like you guys are just getting too soft on these guys, man. Just let them play their game. I've already said that Tom Brady has set the new chart for quarterbacks on when they need to retire and how it's going to look for them and all this stuff. Big Ben has nothing to worry about. I don't love the off the field antics that everybody keeps on bringing up about him. If he's a piece of shit, he's a piece of shit. That's
amen.
That's totally. I'm on your side with that part. But when we're talking about football and allowing him, and him playing the game at a high level, he can absolutely still do that. But what he can't do though, which I want to add that Tom Brady can't do this either without the people that he has. But he can't throw the ball, catch the ball, hand the ball off, run the ball, play defense, call the right plays, make sure everybody's healthy. Like, that's not his job. His job is to take command of the offense, the team, and let them know, like, hey, if you do your part, I'm going to do my part. And we know that they weren't doing their part in that Browns game where they got beaten in. It was tragic. Yes. Does that make Big Ben look bad? Yes, it does make him look bad. But so what? There's plenty of other players that didn't get past. It's plenty of other teams that didn't get past the Browns this past year. So are we excluding everybody else, or is it just Big Ben in Pittsburgh? That's all I want to know.
Fair enough. Kev, yay or nay on Ben Roethlisberger coming back? What do you think?
I think he's coming back for sure.
Do you want him to come back? If you're the GM of the Pittsburgh Steelers, do you want him back on your roster?
Yeah, I don't see who else I would have or else I would go.
Exactly.
There's this thing called the draft that you guys probably should learn about. It's pretty cool. You can draft.
Yeah.
Pretty nice.
Here we go.
That's a gamble, though.
Exactly.
So is keeping a 39-year-old $41 million price tag on your team.
He's better than most quarterbacks, though.
Tom Brady is one of those players.
Tom Brady's Tom Brady.
Because of his players around him. That's the whole reason why he left the Patriots. Because he wanted players around him.
Okay, Chris. Chris.
Players around Big Ben, then we'll see. We might potentially see something. If not,
kidding, right?
And then, hey, I'm on the board with you. If they get some more players, which I totally believe they will, because if Juju is gone, I'm more than sure with the track record of the Pittsburgh of picking up amazing wide receivers, it's going to keep going. And next year, and the years are coming on, he's going to have players. So let's just see. I mean, if it happens, then I'm with you, Joe. If he just blows it the next year and they give him everything he needs, or or people start rallying around him and start playing better and he just still can't get it done, I'm with you.
Chris, you said he had no weapons. He has James Conner, Pro Bowl running back. James Washington, borderline Pro Bowl receiver. Deontay Johnson, borderline Pro Bowl receiver. Chase Claypool, an actual Pro Bowler. Juju Smith-Schuster, a Pro Bowl receiver. And Eric Ebron, the fastest tight end in the entire NFL. He has weapons. He just hasn't done anything with it.
You just said potential.
Two of them.
The only one that is solidified as a Pro Bowler and as a guy is Eric Ebron. Everybody else is building up. What do you want? What do you want him to do?
We have fundamental differences in what classifies a good player. We have fundamental differences.
No, clearly we do.
Fundamental differences.
Clearly we do. Because if that's the case, then he should be on the same level as Tom Brady right now. Is Tom Brady's receiving core the same caliber of receivers as the Pittsburgh Steelers?
It's close.
Get the hell out of here. Get the hell out of here. Get the hell out of here, Joe. Now you're trying to get me hyped up. I'm over here sweating and shit over here.
I'm really good at that. I'm really good at that, Chris. It's like my job. I do a phenomenal job of getting you pissed off. That's like my whole thing. Yes. Angry Chris is my favorite Chris. Angry Chris is my favorite Chris. God, I love it. It was just funny. You said Eric Ebron is the most talented out of all of them. That was the funniest part for me. Eric Ebron. He's the highlight guy. No, he's not. He's been a career disappointment. He was pretty good in Indy one year, and he was okay last year in Pittsburgh. All right. Okay.
Sweating.
Final thoughts. We're doing final thoughts. I'll go first. Final thought is follow the Russell Wilson kind of like storyline right now. It's intriguing as hell. Russell Wilson's never been a diva. Russell Wilson's been a team guy, always first, been a captain on this Seahawks team for years and years and years. Always been quiet. And Cap. And now we're starting to see it unravel a little bit. He's pissed his O-line sucks. It sucks for the past few years now. He's pissed that he can't get over the hump of the team he has currently now. Obviously due to some of the offensive line issues, as well as the defense. He might be in the trade market soon. Half of the league's called him already. Half. 16 teams have called the Seattle Seahawks and asked what it would take to get Russell Wilson. The floor, it's believed, is 3 first-round picks. The floor. The very, very least it would take. So it's going to be more if they end up trading him. Keep your eye on it, though. It's interesting because I think Russell Wilson is one of the most underappreciated quarterbacks of my entire generation. Underappreciated. And that's saying a lot, considering how people think he's great. The fact when people think you're great, and I still think you're underappreciated, that speaks volumes as to what you actually mean in terms of NFL hierarchy all time. Mm-hmm. He might be top 10 all time at the end of his career if he wins another one. He might be. But keep your eye on the timeline. That's my final thought. Chris, any final thoughts?
No, I hear you. I mean, I don't believe in none of this, to be honest with you. Me knowing who Russell Wilson is and the type of person he is, I believe that this is all fluff. I believe that he's not going to go anywhere. I believe that he's going to retire as a Seattle Seahawk. They do this countless times, day in and day out, with all their major players. I remember Cam was on the trading blocks. Who else? Earl was on the trade. Well, they actually got Earl up out of there, but at one point in time when he was at the height of his career, he was on the trading blocks. All these guys, Bobby, Doug, I'm like, come on now. Like, these guys are your core guys right here. I don't believe it. Just knowing, like I said, just knowing Russell Wilson and his camp, they like to keep stuff pretty close to their chest. And so if that's what's going on, which I don't deny that there's teams calling for him, but I think that is all fluff and they're just trying to blow this out of proportion because remember, a lot of people don't know this, but Russell Wilson is actually a pretty good actor. If y'all haven't seen him on The Entourage playing himself acting, it's pretty good. And this is all a part of it. This is all an act. Russell Wilson is going to go down as a Seahawk to his end of the days.
I really hope that's the case. I don't really want to see Russell Wilson being one of those guys to change teams. I like when quarterbacks stay with their teams throughout their whole career. I like that. I'm a very big, supporter of that.
But we haven't seen it recently, especially with a lot of great quarterbacks that's out right now. But he could definitely be that one. Their attitudes, their aura, it just, I don't know. It's weird. It's almost weird how it just clashes together and it just gels for them. They have problems, and then next thing you know, there's probably a clandestine meeting somewhere off on the lake somewhere. Nobody else can hear them. And they come back and it's like they're best friends all over again, and they're winning again. So I just think that it's just fluff. He's trying to push them to get him a better offensive line, which makes sense because they've basically been bypassing it throughout their whole throughout Russell Wilson's whole career, besides Justin Britt, who just stopped playing. So
fair enough. Kevin, any final thoughts?
I'm just gonna be looking out, see if the Patriots get any quarterbacks.
Woohoo!
Yeah, that's about it.
It's funny, actually. Speaking on that kind of that train of thought, I heard a rumor the other day from my little sources. Mac Jones' floor is 8th overall. 8th overall. 8th? Yeah, like Ocho, like number 8, which is ridiculous. Like, I'm kind of glad he won't be there for us to select anyway, because I think he's a bum. I don't think he'll be good in the NFL, period. So I'm kind of glad about that, but I was shocked when I heard that. So unless the Patriots want to trade up, I think Lawrence is gone at that point. Fields is probably gone. Wilson's definitely gone. And now probably Mac Jones is gone. So probably your options are Trey Lance, trade up, or trade down.
I'm trading.
If you're the quarterback, those are your options.
If anything, I'm trading up. Not with this class is such high receivers going in. That means it's not enough of everything else that needs to be that people need to tend to. And we've been saying this throughout the whole season that teams need to invest in more offensive linemen throughout the whole league. So when you got that going on, then you're trying to get your key guys. It's gonna be hard. If I was them, I'd trade up. We're trading up. We're trying to get into that mix.
Well, let's not forget, people always discredit the point that the Patriots never try to trade up or anything. That's not true. It's been proven, literally proven. Bill Belichick tried to trade with the New York Giants before Baker Mayfield went number 1 overall. Mm-hmm. He wanted to get Baker Mayfield at number 2. Mm-hmm. That's been proven. He tried to trade up with the Giants. Mm-hmm. So let there be a lesson. He's not afraid to pull the trigger. Keep that in mind.
I don't know. I don't know. You know, I don't pay attention to, Boston sports and have secret insider tradings and stuff like that you guys are privy to, what with your group texts is telling y'all who's going to get who, and Page and Belichick is the greatest ever in this, and y'all just coming up with all these crazy things. But all I know is they better figure something out, because next year is coming up, and if you guys go 0-16, because I can see it.
You're so full of shit. You're so full of shit. You're so
going to be hell on this show for both of you guys all year.
Chris, what was the record last year?
I'm just saying. All I'm saying is, if you go 0-16 next year, it's going to be a problem.
Chris, what was our record last year?
I don't know. We'll see. What is it? Yeah, what is it?
We were 7-9 last year. 7-9. With Cam Newton throwing the ball into the dirt about 10 times a game.
Wait, now.
Timeout. Let me finish, Chris. You had your say. Let me have mine. We had 8 players opt out, the most in the NFL.
Yeah, that's true.
We had significant injuries on both sides of the football.
Wasn't going to be a problem.
That we're going to go 0-16 based off one bad season, a season in which we still won 7 games, when we had no business with the talent on our team being anywhere close to 500. That is blasphemy. I will not stand for it. I will not stand for it.
Hey, all right. I'm going to let it go. I'm going to let it go. But I hear you. I'm just saying, 0-16. If you go, if you lose the first 4 games, it's a wrap for you guys. I'm gonna let you guys have it. But I'm thinking 0-16 if nothing is changing, because you got a lot of things that needs to be moved around and put in place for you guys to actually have a salvageable career. I mean, salvageable season.
Also, to give you guys some little preview on our next kind of plans here, Stafford and Matthews. So first of all, this is our first offseason episode ever. So clap it up for the boys. We did a pretty goddamn good job. There we go. Chris, a little applause. We need like a little applause button. We need like the buttons for that or something. But anyway, the next few weeks, we're focusing heavy on free agency and on the NFL draft. Myself, and hopefully Chris, we haven't already talked about it yet because we're kind of talking this out right now. I'm doing at least 2 to 3 mock drafts. I hope Chris does at least one. And we'll be talking to some head coaches from some pretty prestigious college football programs, one being maybe Arizona State. We have to talk about Chris and his connections there. So figuring a little bit out. We'll also be doing at least 3 keys to each team's offseason as to what they need to do to succeed in 2021. So keep your eye on that going forward in the offseason. We will be back on a regular schedule. Episodes coming out every Wednesday or Thursday. My man Kev will be laying down the law with clips on social media with our own account at Stafford and Matthews on Instagram, as well as Ride the Wave Media on Instagram, who is, of course, our sponsor this week and every single week we've existed. Content is on the way. We'll be excited to share it with you guys, and I cannot wait for you to see our plans for the future. Unfortunately, the combine's out of the question since it's been canceled. We were really looking forward to doing that together with some live coverage for once, but we'll be out in LA pretty soon after the year's over. COVID, we'll get our vaccinations and everything. We'll have some live content for you, some more interviews. Good stuff's on the way. Keep the faith, keep up with Stafford and Matthews, and ride the goddamn wave. Boys, we'll see you next week.